Okay, guys, welcome back. This is episode 26, holy crap, of the Vegan Bikini Prep Diaries. Me and Belinda are still here, staying consistent. So today we're going to be giving our updates. We didn't do our updates last time, and we're going to talk a little bit about gut health because that's another one of the many things me and Belinda have in common is we both have chronic GI issues. So we're going to be sharing our tips, what we do to stay healthy and navigate our fitness goals while keeping our gut healthy. But Belinda, how are you? How's it going?
I'm good, my friend. How are you doing? I see you're getting your steps in, so staying very on brand.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I had to get my steps in today. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing better. Let's see. I guess I'm like, what, 5 weeks post-shot? Am I 5 or 6 weeks?
Yeah, you're 5 or 6 weeks ish. You're over a month.
I competed the 30th, so I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, so I'm 6 weeks. Wow, that's crazy. It feels like forever ago, but
it really does. I was actually thinking about it yesterday. I don't remember why. Maybe because I think I was putting on my gym clothes, which don't fit quite the same. Since I'm not in prep anymore. And I was just thinking about how like 2 or 3 short months ago, I was in like a completely different body. And it's crazy.
I know. I had some pictures come up on my memories on my iPhone, you know how it'll show you like your highlights and stuff. And I was like looking at pictures of me when I was in prep and I looked totally different. Like, I'm like, damn, like that girl was so badass. Like that's like a different person. Like, oh my God, like that girl was the shit, you know?
You still are. Just it's different now. You're living life. You're in life season, improvement season. We can't be in a cut, in a shred 365. It just doesn't work that way. So
yeah.
The good news is that every time you lift, you're adding muscle maturity and density. And as the years go on, your body will just continue to transform to whatever your goals go on in the future. So you're doing the thing. But prep body and life season body are two very different things.
They are.
But
yeah,
they are. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, though, I've really enjoyed having the food freedom. It's been nice, like, going out. And I've told you this off air, but for people listening, I've been maintaining around 160 pounds, like, without even really trying with my food. Now, I still get a ton of steps in. Like, I'm always over 15,000, and I always train. But yeah, without even trying with my food, I've been kind of maintaining my normal, like, off-season kind of weight. So I know if I, like, just tighten up, which I have been, like, the past week, I'm finally, like, getting a goal in mind and, like, trying to dial it in. So I've been shooting for, like, 1,800 to 2,000 calories, like, kind of hanging out there, staying consistent with that. I'm not going to weigh myself for, like, maybe another week of that. I don't want to get too in my head like I was in prep, but I'm just gonna definitely stay consistent with that, and just like let my body come down naturally, stay on top of my steps. And I do some cardio, like a little cardio, mostly just for my health, because I've noticed that I get really out of breath very easily. So I'm like, all right, we do need to do a little bit of cardio. So just like 20 minutes, nothing crazy, but yeah, I mean, it's been nice. It's been nice to just like be able to go out, like, especially since I'm on the dating scene now, like being able to, like go out to eat, go get Thai food, like just like enjoy life and be a normal person. So that's been really nice.
Philosophical question for you.
Yeah.
Do you prefer prep life, aka very, very disciplined life, or do you prefer improvement season life like you're in right now? And I ask you this because this is what differentiates us from a normal gym girl. do you have a preference of one or the other, or are there things you like and dislike about both, and they're so different it's hard to say which is your favorite?
You know, I would have to say I think they're so different. It's hard to choose which one I prefer. Like you said, like there's advantages to both and there's disadvantages to both. I can confidently say I would definitely I did not enjoy the last 4-ish to 5-ish weeks of my prep. That was extremely hard. And maybe if I had a different life where I didn't have multiple businesses to run and like everything was all on me and like I just had a job I could like go into, like somebody tells me what to do and I just do it, you know, maybe I would feel differently, but it was just a lot at the end. It just felt like I couldn't keep up. Like I could not, like everything just like barely got done every day. So I would say I love prep. I thrive in prep up until probably like that last like 5 weeks out. And then it was like a struggle.
Yeah. Prep will always be really rough at the end. It always will be. I think. I mean, maybe there will be some magical prep where you just kind of sail into contest shape with no skin off your back. I've never heard of that before, but I guess it could happen. But yeah, I always say that last 6 weeks is just, it's hard to describe how intense it is to someone that's never done it before. But yeah, I hear you. For me, I prefer prep. I do better as a person when I have very strict rules. And I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about everything. Like I do really well with like, you must accomplish these things today. And even though I try to have that same discipline in life season like now, because I do like living with rules. It's just not quite the same when you don't have to get into a sparkly bikini in X amount of days.
No kidding. Yeah.
I'm just talking about food. I'm talking about everything, really. Like, because the last month is so intense, you want like maybe a lot of things on your adult to-do list to be done. You want things for your business to be done. You want, I don't know, maybe things I need to do for my family. You want those done, like crossed off and done, you know? And it's just different when it's real life and there's no strict deadline and you're just kind of like flowing, waving throughout the day, in the weeks. So I personally prefer when I'm in prep. I really feel like I am my best Belinda when I'm in prep. Like I am on it. I'm on everything. I don't function to the same level when I'm not in prep. But I know that I can't always be in prep. So it's fine. and you know, I won't be bodybuilding forever. And I do need to learn how to keep that same discipline for other goals besides bodybuilding. And so we can go into some updates. I have been doing a few different things in my fitness, and I think you have been too. So we could talk about that. So Brooke and I are in a really interesting position, both of us, because the judges told both of us that we do not need to grow. So like training is kind of weird right now because we always need to continue to build density. So like, don't misunderstand. We still have to work hard in the gym, but we don't necessarily have to like go as frequently. I think you're just training 4 days a week now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm training 3 or 4 because my main problem area is my glute and hamstring tie-in area. And so I'm training my glutes and hamstrings heavy and hard and tough. Like it's a very challenging workout. and I need to recover after, because legs don't really grow if you don't let them recover. So sometimes a few days will go by where it's not really time to train again. And I'm not really supposed to touch my upper body anymore. I've trained my upper body. We're in the middle of beginning of October. I've trained my upper body like 10 times, 10 to 15 times the entirety of 2025. So I'm just doing like one session every 3-ish weeks. Occasionally, I'll throw in a little set of something at the end of a lower training session just to like say I did it, and feel like I'm not losing my like beautiful delts in shape that I've worked so hard for. So yeah, like my training's in a funny spot right now. But that's bodybuilding. Like you train for a criteria, right? So that being said, I'm finding other things to do to keep myself occupied and continue to build my body, because it's not only about bodybuilding, it's also like about my functional health, my long-term health, aging, being strong, nice, good bone health. Like it's not only about bodybuilding. So I do a couple of different things. I have a class pass membership, and I take my hot yoga classes here and there. I'm not going as frequently as I did in prep because I'm not really needing that right now. So I'm going here and there to hot yoga. I'm going to Solid Core, which is a Pilates chain. I go there every once in a while. And then I've started, I'm on my 3rd week at this facility here in Chicago called Chicago Movement Gym. And it's a body weight, body strength type of training program. So we do like handstands and pull-ups and like body hold movements where you're like, maybe you're on your wrists and you're lifting your legs up, like really cool stuff like that, like really like very strong body weight movement. And it's really interesting and it's really fun. It's a totally different type of training, obviously. And it's exciting. I'm learning new things. We start the beginning of each session doing like focus exercises. So like, for example, yesterday we did juggling.
Interesting.
For like hand-eye coordination and like learning how to trust the movement. Juggling without looking at your hands, looking up. And it's really, really hard. And like we warmed up with that. It's like really interesting things. And so I've been having fun with that. Just something a little bit different to do and challenge myself to learn different things. And, can't really train my upper body like I want to. And I can only train my legs so much. Right. So, yeah, gotta keep on trucking. Doesn't mean I'm going to sit around all day doing nothing. So, that's kind of what I've been up to in fitness. What have you been up to? I know, because I talk to you every day, that you've got some new fitness things you've been up to. So what have you been doing, since you also are not allowed to train like Ronnie Coleman anymore, lifting everything you want, and you have to be careful. So what are you up to in your fitness?
So I started taking jujitsu, which is super cool. And it's basically, for anybody listening, it's basically like wrestling. Like essentially is what it is. There's no punching, there's no kicking like karate. It's just like using like your leverage to get your opponent to submit. So like in my class, there's like this 8-year-old girl, and she kicks everybody's ass. Like she'll even like wrestle with the men, and like these like 6-foot tall men, she can like totally just whoop their ass. It's insane. So it's like not really even about like strength. It's more so like strategy, but it's still a great workout. Like it's you'll get really sweaty. I was really surprised. I did a class on a Monday, and my abs were sore for like 4 days. It was insane. But yeah, it's like I'm just trying to like do some different things, do some fun things, just something that's totally different. My only thing with jujitsu is I'm realizing it's like very easy to get injured. So I'm like, shit, I don't want to like get, you know, pulled out of the gym and like out of my main passion, my love for lifting, because I'm doing jujitsu. So I'm just going to have to be really careful, because it's not like cycling, you know, or like even like yoga, Pilates, like the risk of injury is very low. Like I mean, like you're falling on a mat, like like yesterday I went and like we basically for the whole class we were like flipping people around, and like, you know, we were it's a lot of like I was telling you before we hopped on, like external rotation with your shoulder, because you've got people and you're like flipping them over. So I've been having some shoulder stuff, and I'm like, okay, I need to be careful. But yeah, I definitely I love it. Like, it's a lot of fun, and it was funny. Everybody was like, "What brought you here?" And I was like, "Well, I'm a bodybuilder in my off season. I'm just like trying to do something fun," and that got out like to everyone. And so now, anytime I introduce myself to anybody, they're like, "Oh, you're the bodybuilder!" Like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "They're just glamour muscles, guys. Like, that's all they are. Like, they're not functional muscles." So.
Yeah, to an extent, though. I mean, even though bodybuilding is like an aesthetic-y sport, we're still training and we're still stronger, you know, than the general population. I mean, it's not like we're not doing anything in there. But yeah, I also think, like, from a mindset standpoint, I think it's really important to not be around bodybuilding 24/7, because the sport, as you know, is 365, totally all consuming. Once the algorithm gets you on your Instagram, it's all that you see. And, you know, it's, even though we love it and it's our sport, it's important to remember that life does not revolve around bodybuilding, and like society exists outside of it. And it's good to like go into different fitness spaces and try that too. Like, I know for me, when I was in prep this year, and as you know, a big part of my output, my calorie output, was my hot yoga. And it was really great for me. Like, I really loved going in prep, because first of all, my hot yoga is in a really dark yoga studio. So it's like you can't see anything in there. So it's really like dark and calming. And then like before class and after class, people are kind of chatting, and it's nice to like not always, even though I love you, Brooke, it's not, you know, it's good to not always be talking to bodybuilders all the time. Yeah, so it's good. It's really good. So I'm glad you're doing that. And yeah, you're enjoying a bit of food freedom. You've got a few more weeks in the danger zone of a reverse diet, or whatever you want to call it, body reverse phase. We don't have to call it a diet, I guess. And I can assure you that like by the end of October, when you're like 2 months post show, everything's going to kind of settle, because that's where I'm at right now. So I'm 2.5 months post show ish, to something like that. I'm like 12, I don't know, whatever. So I've made it a good way. A majority of my body fat shot right to my midsection. And the past, like, I've noticed like the past 2-ish weeks, it's starting to like settle like back to other areas. So like it concentrated here, and now it's kind of like moving around, which is good, because it doesn't feel good to go from a 6-pack to a extra pack. It just like doesn't feel good. Like, we know it's part of the sport and we know it's part of the process, but it still sucks. So anyway, yeah, things are kind of settling with me. I feel like pretty good. Health is in check. I'm getting my blood work done. I ended up not getting it done last month, unfortunately. So I'm going to get it done any week now. Looking forward to some good results. And yeah, I'm trained. Like I said, I'm training 4-ish days a week. Sometimes it's 5. Like sometimes I will spring in maybe like a core session, or like core and like 3 upper body movements. I'm more strict with the lower body training, and then anything upper and core, I'm just kind of like squeezing it in. I'm doing a bit of cardio. I can't quite put like a time on it. It's definitely under an hour a week. It's like somewhere between like 30 minutes and an hour, just kind of depending on what it is. I do a combination of like incline walk on my tread, maybe like a 20-minute Peloton spin class. I don't even do like the long ones right now. I even did a run a few weeks ago, like just 20 minutes, just to like keep my body moving, because it's really important to stay healthy and cardiovascularly fit, even though it doesn't quite go with bodybuilding, but I do need to keep a little bit of it in. And then I'm doing my extracurriculars, like I said. And I'm not really letting those like affect my training too much. They're just sort of like bonus. I call it like extra credit fitness. So that's what I'm up to. Food. I am tracking food again. I have been tracking food for the past week. It was time. Why was it time? Because I was really missing structure, like I said. I do better when I have rules. I just do. So like I was feeling a little lost with my food. Like I was eating intuitively. But like, and I, even though when I tracked my food, it was 50 calories within what I thought it was going to be. So like, even though I eat intuitively, have been eating intuitively all year, even in contest prep, I really like know my nutrition. So it's not quite the same as if I didn't know what I was doing. So I've been tracking food just to like stay in a range that I want to. My update is that I'm starting prep soon again, guys. I'm starting soon. I'm either starting beginning of November or beginning of December, to be determined. I'm 75% sure I'm going to do the Arnold Amateur. I just really want to do it. Unless something changes in the next month, or I could change my mind. I do plan on starting prep soon. So, but I'm going to go slow and steady. I don't have that much really to lose. I'm in the same situation I was this year, but I'm going to be more strategic. I'm going to, something that I've started doing is I'm starting to track my sodium, which is a new thing for me. I just kind of had that number in my head previously, but I am right now experimenting with more sodium, and I'm trying to understand how that makes me feel and look. I will report back in the future. Still too early into my experimentation to comment, but I am an active subject in this experiment. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what I've been up to. And yeah, all right. So gut health.
Gut health, yes.
So we were talking about how we would go about this. I guess we can talk about maybe some gut health issues you've had in your fitness journey and some that I've had. And we are targeting this conversation towards the people that eat to their macros, that have a higher protein diet, that have fitness goals. That's what this conversation is targeted towards. We're not doctors. None of this is medical advice. This is all just us chatting about our experience and what has worked for us. And yeah, so Brooke, why don't you go into a little bit of your history of some gut stuff you've dealt with in your fitness journey, and yeah, take it away.
Yeah. The other thing too, I want to add to that, because I know people listening, like so many people have gut issues. Like it's so common now. But like what works for one person may not work for you. Like gut issues
That's
are
right.
very, very, very individualized. So like even though like me and Belinda both have like a chronic GI issue, like Belinda has Crohn's, I had SIBO, IBS, like there are things that work for Belinda that don't work for me, and there are things that don't work for me that are fine for Belinda. So like every time I talk about gut health, I get this influx of messages and DMs, and people are like, well, this is fine for me, so does that mean I actually have SIBO? And like, I get all these messages, and it's like, guys, like just because it doesn't work for us or it works for us doesn't mean it will work for you. So again, yeah, this is not advice. This is just us saying what worked for us. So yeah, I didn't have gut issues my entire life. It was really just after my first prep, 2022, I was diagnosed with SIBO, which is short for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. basically you're not supposed to have a ton of bacteria in your small intestines. It's supposed to stay in your large intestines, but mine had overgrown in my small intestines, and so that leads to bloating, cramping. It can impact your bowel movements, like all sorts of different stuff. So SIBO is treatable. You can get rid of it. A lot of people struggle to, but you can get rid of it. And it's almost always coupled with IBS. So a lot of people will know IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Almost like 90% of IBS cases are actually just SIBO cases. And once you clear up the SIBO, your IBS is gone, but it can always come back. So I want to be clear with that. It will almost always come back, but you just have to be very careful with your lifestyle.
So quick interjection.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain to people why you got this after your first bodybuilding prep? Super important to explain why.
Yeah. So I feel like, I've had doctors and coaches and people throw around different hypotheses, if you will. I believe it was a combination of a lot of things. I think, for one, it was the environment that I was in my prep, meaning my protocol. My coach gave me a meal plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did not do macros. I followed a meal plan for almost a year. And that meal plan had the same 12 maybe foods on it, or maybe even 10 foods, maybe even less, for that entire year.
What this means is that your variety of foods was so low,
yes,
that you never introduced, or your body had a very hard time introducing healthy gut bacteria, because you were just consuming the exact same things all of the time with not much variety. And I remember seeing that diet. This is when we were first becoming friends. So I remember you sent me a screenshot of it, and I didn't know you yet. So I couldn't say anything in confidence because I didn't know you. But I remember thinking to myself, oh, that is rough.
Yeah,
and,
it sucks.
You had no variety, and so
no fruit.
You weren't getting enough nutrients. No dietitian would ever approve that meal plan. And unfortunately, in a fitness journey, all of us, even Brooke, me, people listening, you go through periods where you don't quite know as much as you thought you did, or you have to learn the hard way, or not everything's going to be perfect all the time. You're going to work with people, coaches, whatever, that there's going to be some missteps. The most important thing to do is just trust your body. If you think that something you've been given is not great, you need to explore that. But Brooke was a first-time competitor. She had no idea what was going on. This was all new to her. And there wasn't as much information in 2022 about contest prep like there is now, actually. So you and I were both in the dark our first year about a lot of this stuff. So you finished your very long diet contest prep.
Yep.
With very little variety in your food. And it was a recipe for disaster. Yeah.
Yes. And he wasn't vegan. I want to make that very clear. And he said he knew how to work with vegans, but he had never worked with a vegan. He worked with a pescatarian, which we know are completely different. But in a bodybuilder's mind, they're oh, vegan, pescatarian, same thing, whatever. But no, she has omega-3s in her diet. I had no omega-3s in my diet. I had so many nutritional deficiencies in my diet. It was insane. So I think that, plus, I way overdid the artificial sweeteners like sucralose, sugar-free everything, sugar-free chocolate syrup, because my food was terrible.
The problem with artificial sweeteners is that they can disrupt the gut bacteria. So when you're overdoing them, like you said, it's like you're just asking for trouble. It's like the inside of your gut is like fireworks are going off all of the time. And even though you might not feel it, like probably when you were eating it, you felt fine. There was probably a lot going on in there that unfortunately, when your diet ended and you brought more variety back into your diet, your gut biome didn't know how to deal with it. And
yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot because my food was so, I mean, I had such little variety that I just was like putting sugar-free stuff on everything to make my food taste good. And so that, and then I also just, I mean, the stress, like anyone who has a GI issue knows that they're exacerbated when you go through like just stress, whether it's physical stress or emotional stress, which I had a lot of that prep. I just come off the most absolutely like traumatic year of my life. Like for a year, I was like traumatized, like basically had PTSD from an abusive relationship in 2021. So like I left that, went into prep, and then like just absolutely beat the hell out of my body. I was doing tons of cardio. So I just think just the entire situation was a recipe for a disaster. And my coach basically kind of like broke up with me like after my show. He felt like I don't know. It just he felt like I had attitude with him is what he said. So he was like, "Hey, I'm done. We're not a good, we're not a good fit to work together. It's whatever." So I had no reverse diet. I had no plan. So like, you know how it is. You're a first time competitor. You do your first season. Like I went crazy. So like I went from having hardly any food and like really no sugar, just artificial sweeteners and just like a very bland diet to just eating like whatever. Like I would eat, I had cookies and like all sorts of stuff. So and then my hormones were shot. I had no estrogen, which is really problematic when you're a woman because we have our estrobolome, which is in our gut. So a lot of people don't realize that your estrogen and your gut are directly related. Like a lot of your estrogen is connected to your gut. So I feel like it's hard to say like which came first, if my gut was thrown off and that threw my estrogen off or vice versa. But basically it was just a recipe for disaster. And like, it had nothing to really do with me being vegan. This happens a lot in the bodybuilding world. Like there's all these like gut health protocols now. Like you'll see them everywhere. It just comes down to like poor coaching, like bad coaching, people not knowing what they're doing. But it is very common, unfortunately, people getting SIBO left and right. But yeah, I was able to heal. Thank God. That's a whole nother, that would take me 30 minutes to explain.
Yes, that's another thing. But why don't you tell people, okay, so that all happened like as a result of many things, but a majority of it having to do with like a very strict bodybuilding meal plan. And so you just finished your 2025 season and I was with you the whole way. And I don't think you had gut issues this prep. I don't think so,
no,
right? You were good.
All. No, and
so what were some things that you did along the way to attribute to that, in your opinion? I mean, listen, gut health is a roll of the dice, guys, honestly. Like it's not what Brooke's about to say is not like going to be the secret for everybody, but maybe just some things that you picked up on or things you did a little differently this time to get you through another tough diet phase.
Yeah, so diet related, I really limited the artificial sweeteners. I did do some. I'm not going to act like I didn't do any at all, but I really limited it, like compared to what I was doing in 2022. So, and I do stevia, I do monk fruit. Those are fine. Those are actually like natural sweeteners. It was the sucralose was really what got me. So anything with sucralose, I really, really was careful about. And then also with my diet, I did my own diet. My coach gave me macros. And I just wrote my own diet and wrote my own nutrition and I just followed those macros. So I was changing my food up rather frequently, like nothing crazy, but I would just swap vegetables in and out or swap a fruit in and out. So that way I had that diversity there and there was like nothing really off limits unless I just felt like it would trigger me and cause me to binge. So I felt like that really, really benefited me. And then supplement wise, I did. So ever since I had SIBO, I do this morning gut health cocktail. It's aloe vera, apple cider vinegar, and L-glutamine. And I do that every single morning before I drink coffee, before I eat. And I just mix that in water, and I have that every single morning. I feel like that makes a huge difference for me. Magnesium, I do like 400 milligrams, like kind of like a higher dose. And I feel like that really helped me towards the tail end of prep, because your food gets low and then you don't go to the bathroom as much. So that really helped. And I did stay on top of a probiotic too. But again, probiotics, something you have to be careful with, because like if you have SIBO, if you have bacterial overgrowth, if you have too much bacteria, you shouldn't be on probiotics. Probiotics can make that worse. Like a lot of people think you take a probiotic and like the probiotics like fighting the bad bacteria in your gut, but that's not how it works. It just like grows more. So yeah, so I did take a probiotic, and yeah, I mean, I feel like mostly that kept me on track, just those things.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that, yeah, having diversity in your diet is very, very important. You know, not giving medical advice here, but you shouldn't necessarily, not you, Brooke, but anyone should not necessarily need a probiotic if you have a very diverse and varied diet. If you are eating a nice, diverse, nutritious diet, you do not need a probiotic. You should be, you know, crossing everything off the list and checking all the boxes. As a coach, what I tell clients is that every meal that they eat, so let's say that's 3 meals a day, I want you to throw 2 to 3 handfuls of vegetables in your food, and they ideally should be different vegetables. You don't have to overcomplicate it. A handful of baby spinach, a handful of baby tomatoes, a handful of shredded carrots. Just like keep throwing vitamins and minerals at yourself throughout the day. If you have a sweet breakfast, like, you know, you don't have to put like spinach in your waffles, but I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I'm just trying to say 2 to 3 times a day, I want lots of veggies on the plate. And then fruit, it depends what your goals are. As we know, fruit is not as calorie free as vegetables, so you have to be like a little conscious of it. It's not a free food. Is it ever going to be the problem to stop you from hitting your goals? No, but you just have to be conscious of it. But yeah, same with fruit, like throw different fruits around. A trick that I have is bananas in the diet. Bananas have a lot of digestive enzymes in them that really help digestion. So when I was a coach, I would always tell people to have a banana every day. If they really hated bananas, then we'd figure something else out. But a banana a day keeps the doctor away in Belinda's book. And then if you have any like diagnosed GI disease like Crohn's or colitis or IBS or UC, when a banana is really green, when it's not quite ripe yet, if you can stomach eating that chalky, disgusting banana, even just like throwing it in a smoothie, it has even more of those properties in it. So yeah, variety is key. Like you said, glutamine and magnesium are key digestive supplements that people could try. I don't recommend trying both at the same time. I would recommend trying one, seeing if it helps you at all. If you don't feel any different, then take it out. No reason to take something if you don't need it. And then if you think that you are lacking in, like, let's say magnesium, if you think you have a deficiency, when you get your blood test, you could ask your doctor to add that to the lab work, because that's tested in blood. So yeah, I think that's all really great. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to come through your gut issues and learn from the past mistakes. And I'm glad that this prep, you had a nice, smooth gut experience.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So for me, I actually have Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed in 2021. The pathology of the cells showed that I had had my Crohn's for probably 7 to 10 years. I always kind of had a finicky stomach, but I just kind of lived with it. I didn't really think too much about it because it's like you don't know you need glasses until you have them. You know what I mean? But something interesting was that as I became a vegan, my the cell pathology where my Crohn's cells were older, if that tracks, and meaning that my vegan diet helped to not make my Crohn's worse. So it's kind of interesting. So anyway, the good thing about being a bodybuilder and having Crohn's disease is there is no better diet for Crohn's than a bodybuilding diet, because I'm very disciplined with my food, and that helps keep my Crohn's in check. Like anyone that has a GI disease knows that the food is the missing link to feeling better. And if you're throwing different unplanned, I call it unorganized nutrition, if you're just throwing random foods at your body all day with no rhyme or reason for the nutritional value and structure, you're going to feel like crap all of the time. But instead, if you're strict, you don't have to be as strict as me, but if you're pretty strict and organized with your nutrition, you should be feeling pretty good all the time if you're hitting all the markers. So my gastroenterologist loves me. She wishes all of her clients could be as disciplined with food as me. I guess key for me is I eat a lot of the same things all of the time. Not to say I only eat like 15 things like Brooke did once upon a time that caused all the issues, but like I know the foods that work for me. For example, like, not that I eat French fries that often, but I have a real issue with fryer oil at a restaurant. Sometimes I could just look at a plate of food at a restaurant and know it. I will be paying the price the next day. Like I could just look at it, I'll know, if I have that, I'm going to be in pain in the bathroom from Crohn's all week. So I just don't eat those things. Bodybuilding or not, like, how I feel is important, so I'm very conscious of that. In my prep this year, I had no gut health issues. Same with Brooke. I made my own meal plan, lots of variety, lots of fruit, lots of veggies. I also used less artificial sweetener this year. I really only had it. I had Splenda in my coffee. I know it's not the healthiest thing in the world. Don't come at me, guys. But, my diet's like 95% perfect. So that's like my little thing that I do. Oh, and Coke Zero. I drink Coke Zero. So anyway, artificial sweeteners on the low, not like my first prep. My first prep, I used like, all the syrups and everything. Not really this time. Kept my diet really varied, and you need fat in your diet to, absorb nutrients. So I was really careful to not go too low fat for too long. I think my fats were under 20 grams a day, which do not recommend unless you are a bodybuilder trying to get stage lean. No reason someone not trying to be stage lean, if you're just in a cut, try never to go below 40 grams a day. Bodybuilder, unfortunately, when you're trying to get ready for stage, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I really was only very low fat for, I think, like less than 6 weeks. It wasn't too bad. Like my fats were actually 40 and above all through May. And then in June, I really had to get them very, very low. They got to be, trace fats at the end, unfortunately. But then I reversed out of it pretty quickly. My gut was fine. Lots of diverse food in my diet. I also would use glucosamine in my, I would put a scoop in my Ninja Creamies in prep.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So I would just like blend it in, and I'd go to the bathroom like within 15 minutes of eating it after. Yeah, but I'm a real veggie person. I mean, you heard my rule, 2 to 3 handfuls of veggies in everything I eat, even when I'm in prep. I stay healthy and regular, and yeah, I prioritize it. I really do. Main thing is eat a lot of veggies. You just have to eat a lot of veggies. But on that note, people with a GI disease, sometimes people with Crohn's and IBS and UC can't eat a lot of veggies because it really disrupts their gut. So you have to do what works for you.
Exactly.
I would say if you can't eat a lot of veggies, you should experiment maybe with like baby spinach is usually pretty easy on the tummy. Maybe throwing it into a smoothie. If you blend it up really fine, that way your gut doesn't have to break down the nutrients on its own. It's like already broken down. There are like little tricks you can do like that. Other things to do for gut health. So in Italian culture, we have this phrase, it's in the language called a passeggiata. And what a passeggiata is a walk after a meal. It's part of Italian culture. And like in Italy, a lot of time, like after lunch, after dinner, you see all the families like walking around for a passeggiata after a meal. And walking after you eat is very beneficial because your body is moving and it's starting the digestive process for you. It's awakening the muscles. It's helping you pass gas and all that stuff. And that way all your food's just like not sitting there. So it's important to move a good amount in a day, just as Brooke gets her steps in now. Like sometimes like the worst thing you could do is eat a big meal and then sit on your butt for the rest of the day. Like if you can take a little walk, even just around your apartment, around your house after you eat, just even a few laps around your kitchen, just to kind of like get things moving, that really, really helps. John
Jewett recommends like 1,000 steps after a meal typically. So
yeah,
it's just, especially if you have your walking pad, you could just get on your walking pad after your meal.
Yeah, definitely. I had something else I wanted to say in regards to gut health, but unfortunately I forgot. Maybe I'll try and remember. But what else can I recommend? There's a few other supplements that I can bring up. I wrote a little list.
I would add post-show. I also, because here's the thing with post-show, at least for me, like I didn't do like a very slow reverse diet. So I went from having like not a lot of food on my stomach to having a lot of food on my stomach. And sometimes it can take your stomach a minute to adjust to that. So I did some digestive enzymes. And then I did some betaine HCl just to increase my stomach acid a little bit more because I was
on my list. Yep,
yeah,
that's on my list here.
Meals were just like sitting with me forever. Like I could tell I was eating more food. So that can be helpful too. But again, this is very individualized. If you have acid reflux, you don't want to take betaine HCl and increase your acid, and then you're having more problems. So yeah, like do your gut test. If you're having issues, like get tested, see a GI, make sure you know what's going on before you try to self-treat.
Definitely. I'm going to give the one more tip, the important one that I forgot. So as fitness girls, as macro eaters, as usually high protein diet peeps, protein is inflammatory, everybody. It's rough on the gut. It really is. That's why in your fitness journey, your sports nutrition journey, you need to find like a sweet spot that works for you. Like 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight might be too much for you. It might. You might do better on like 0.7 grams. You might do better on 0.5 or 0.6. You probably won't be Mr. Olympia one day. However, like you can still build muscle with lower than 1 gram. You don't necessarily need that full gram. So don't like, you have to find like the amount that works for you. Sometimes even just reducing protein by like 15 grams a day, a protein bar, for example, or like a little bit less seitan, it can make all the difference in how you feel. Everybody's body is really different. I know for me, over the years, my body has tolerated protein more. Like there was a time, even just like 3 years ago, where if my protein got closer to the 150 grams a day, I wouldn't feel good. Protein. We're back. We had to do slight room change, but we're back. So yeah, the amount of protein you eat also can really like affect your gut health and how you feel digestion wise. So play what works for you. And then another thing that I do, two things when it comes to protein, and then we'll wrap this up. Now, this is gravitating a bit towards just gut health, but like if you have any concern that you're consuming too much protein, maybe you have like kidney disease in your family or something, you know, you have to be careful. When you go get your annual physical, ask for the doctor to test your protein. They can do a spot urine test. You know, even if you don't have insurance, I think it's like $70, I think, to do that. So if you've been consuming a high protein diet for a while and maybe you have some sort of family history of kidney issues or whatever, could be a good idea to check, like make sure your high protein diet is okay. Anyway, on that note, another thing I do, and this is more for like my Crohn's because protein is inflammatory, and Brooke knows I do this. Every few months, I take like a protein break. I just like for a few days, I forget that protein exists. I just eat whatever. I don't necessarily do this in a contest prep, but I'm talking about, you know, regularly to just give my body a chance to like not be so overwhelmed by protein all the time. And you could do that by, you know, just eating more carbs and fats and not worrying too much about protein. You could also do a juice cleanse, are great things to do to just clear up the gut and, you know, reset it for a bit. So there are little things you can do if you feel like you've been overdoing the protein for a while and you need a bit of a reset.
Yeah, good tips. Yeah, I do love the juice cleanses too. You turned me on to squeezed.
Yeah, I love
so
them.
good. So
They're
good.
so good. Yeah, I did one. I actually did one during prep when I was like halfway through prep this year, and that was good. Yeah. So anyway, so those are our tips. Just like a couple little things we've learned in our journeys. Again, none of this is medical advice, just things to know and tools in your toolbox if you want to use them. So before we go, Brooke, I just want to tell the people that in 3 episodes from now, we will have an episode together in person because Brooke's coming to visit me. So
Yay.
For that episode, we're going to do a Q&A from you guys. So if you guys want to send in your questions, you want to type them in the comments, anything you want, we're also going to put it up in our stories. And when we are together, we'll record a little episode together and answer some questions. So that will be fun.
Yes, give us some good ones.
Yes. All right, Brooke. I know you have to go. I have to go. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you soon.
All right. Yes, this was a good one. Bye.
Bye.